Okay, so I want to all of you. I think we should start. It's 3 p.m. and hi everyone. Welcome to our first webinar from the fifth webinar series. I'll be talking today about design thinking methodology and how can we use it in life. And I'm going to show you a use case that would help you understand what design thinking methodology is end to end. But before I start with the topic, I'm going to introduce myself, introduce you to the IBM Digital Nation platform, just in case we have any newbies to our session, they would be familiar about or on our platform. And then I'm going to briefly tell you about our mobile application, and then we can start with the topic. Great. Please, you can ask me any question at any time on the chat. I'll be reviewing all your questions. I have the chat open so I can see your questions, so I can answer all your questions. Also, if you have any questions for later on, you can always email me. My email will be included at the end of this presentation, and I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. So let's start. Great. My name is Jude Al Hassan. I'm a content and application developer. And one of my focus areas is design thinking, as I attended a session and I just love this topic because it really helps us in developing the right solutions for the right challenges for our audience. And it can work for any area you can think of. So I started leading design thinking webinars, training sessions, and workshops, and I enabled more than 1,000 people on design thinking methodology. So one major thing that I did with design thinking is that I created a course which is called Design Thinking for Beginners. And it's available in the innovator section in the IBM Digital Nation Africa platform and the mobile app. So you can go ahead and explore it and get the badge from the Enterprise Design Thinking course, which is called the Practitioner Badge. And you can obviously save it and share it on your CV or your LinkedIn profile and so on. Okay, so what is IBM Digital Nation Africa? IBM Digital Nation Africa is basically a platform that enables you with the technologies, with the latest technologies, and it focuses on 4 areas, which are the learning, earn badges, innovation, and finding jobs. So you learn the courses, you learn whatever technologies we have included for you, such as AI, cloud, blockchain, quantum computing, data science, and so on. And you can actually achieve a badge after completing a course from the 3 journeys that we have and share it on your social media. And you can actually get the chance to use our IBM Cloud Lite account. That will give you the chance to develop your solutions and share it with us. And eventually you can actually find jobs through our tools and get all the things that you actually need in life. So I'm just going to take you through the website, just a quick demo for you to get familiar with it. So everyone can see my screen, please. If yes, just write on the chat. Okay, so this is our Digital Nation platform. I just want to navigate through it, and I want to show you what are the 3 sections that we have, which are Explorer, Innovator, and New Caller. Explorer section, we are offering the user to learn the intro, or the introduction about the technologies that we have included here. And each technology will have a use case or more than a use case, that how this technology was applied in our industries or different industries. The courses are included in Explorer with the duration of each course would be 30 minutes long, with a short quiz that as soon as you get it and pass with 80%, you will achieve a badge. For the innovator section, you can get inspired by the ideas and how technology, and then you can use the IBM Cloud Light account to build solutions. And in the blue collar section, we have advanced courses and the job advisor tool that helps you match your skills with the jobs that are available in the job market. So go ahead, if you did not register yet, just go ahead, register, and let us know and share your achievements with us. So to go back to our presentation, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, that we have the mobile application that you can actually download. It's available only for Android and in Africa. It's super easy to use. We have the Explorer courses, which are around 8 courses, and we have the IBM Design Thinking for Beginners course, and a few ideas that you can actually get inspired. So it's very, very quick, and you can achieve your badges and share it directly on your social network. Okay, so we spoke about Digital Nation Africa, the platform and the app. So let's start with design thinking methodology. If you guys heard about design thinking, or that design thinking word just came to your way, what would you think? What do you know about design thinking? What the first thing that comes to your mind? Share with me whatever you think about design thinking on the chat. If you have any idea what is this, how we can use it, what does it focus on? I'll give you some time to share your thoughts and answers on the chat. Software engineering. I think, Khaldun, you're answering what you do, or no? This is actually design thinking is basically it's a simple word. Try to get the meaning out of these two words. Solving a problem starting with design. Okay. Is it possible to explain slowly? Yes, of course. Sorry for being very quick. Design thinking is a human-centric, agile method of creating solutions of problems. Amazing answer. Okay, so you have a slightly you have design thinking may be focused on layout and usability of the application and how it processes information. Okay, so you have an idea what it could be, what design thinking could be. So give you I'll show you a use case on how design thinking was applied, so you get the taste of how did they come up with the problem statement at the beginning, and then they came up with the right solution. I just want that design thinking is a methodology that focuses on the end user's needs. So it could be technical or non-technical solution. And it can be applied in so many ways. It can be applied in business, it can be applied in your personal life, and so on. It's just a way that helps you define the problem statement or the challenge in order to come up with the right solution for your audience. In this picture, you can see the dentist's room. And these rooms are usually not very appealing to patients or even us. Like it could be very frustrating and not a comfortable environment for patients or specifically for kids. So a lot of kids are afraid to go to the dentist and do not like the environment, but still they have to do it. So one of the clinics, or not one of the clinics, actually some of the clinics thought of a workshop to come up with an idea on how to improve the patient's experience, how they can improve the feeling that they get as soon as they get to a dentist room. So they did this kind of workshop and tried to find a way to focus the patient's needs and wants. So as you can see, the solution was They painted the wall to give a better look and feel for kids, and to make sure that they feel more comfortable getting into the room and do whatever they have to do. So design thinking was basically focusing on the end user's needs, that focused on their feeling and the emotion. Any questions so far? So let's just start with our design thinking topic and our use case that I'll guide you through so it would be easier for you to understand. So as we define design thinking as a human-centered approach, and it actually targets the people's needs and wants and make it um, super interesting to them and serves their needs and wants with our solutions or products. So we just, as a company or as a company or as a client, sorry, I got scared. 1 second. Okay, so if we are trying to come up with a solution or a product, we cannot just come up with it and just share it with our clients. We have to understand what they actually need and what they actually want. In case they need something, we cannot just go ahead and say that, okay, you have to have this product and you have to use it. So we try to make it a win-win situation where we can sell our products or solutions and make the audience happy or the customer happy with it. So design thinking help us define what is the actual problem statement and what are we trying to solve in order to come up with the right solution for our audience. So design thinking focuses on 3 key elements, which are the actions mentioned in the slide: observe, reflect, and make. What does each one of these words mean? Observe, meaning that we have to observe the marketplace, we have to observe the challenges around us, we have to see who are our audience, and so on, and what are our capabilities. In the reflect, we have to reflect on the challenge. We have to come up with a strategy, we have to come up with a plan, we have to put a goal for our solving challenge kind of way. And in the make, we have to reflect on the challenge and we start making our solution or product that the users will be in need or want. So we're going to have to in order to have a successful design thinking methodology or strategy, which are step number 1, identify your business challenge. What are you trying to do? You have to identify who are you targeting, your audience and your persona. And whoever is following the design thinking techniques, he should make sure targeting the right personas with asking them questions, with making surveys, and they actually put themselves in their shoes in order to have a clear idea who their personas are. And then you can define the scope of the MVP. You cannot just go ahead and create a solution that the users are not really in need with for it. So the first step that we're going to do today is the business challenge. Our business challenge, because you know the situation now with the COVID-19, we're all in our houses. A lot of private businesses were just not doing well because they opened in such a situation, and a lot of startup companies they just lost their jobs or they lost their companies. So one of the startups actually thought, why don't we come up with the challenge and try to get specific audience in order for us to survive in this situation. So their challenge was focusing on how can they actually come up with an idea that will stand out through this pandemic. So they decided to do a design thinking workshop, and they tried to follow the techniques that design thinking actually have, and they went through the journey that I'll just tell you all about. So they identified the persona, and they followed the design thinking technique, which is the second step I told you about, which is Yasser. Now, this is our first persona. I just want to tell you guys that you can target as many as personas you want, and you can do, or you can just do this together. But I'm just gonna use one persona for now, so you don't get overwhelmed, and show you how you can actually uh, do the design thinking techniques. So the first thing that we have to do is identifying your persona. Our persona is Yasser. He's a student. He's 21 years old, and he is just staying at home because of the lockdown and because of the coronavirus, and there are so many restrictions. And I believe it's not just Yasser, it's all of us right now. So we want to focus on Yasser specifically, as he's young, he's doing his studies online, and he's actually needs to find a job, but this is what's happening. So in the persona, we try to come up with facts about the person, which are what are the demographics, what are the behaviors of this persona, the attitude, what are the goals of this persona, and what are the needs and challenges. So we have Yasser, he's from Dubai, he's in UAE. He likes to program, he likes to play sports, he's a computer science, he's social, he's funny, and he likes to learn new skills, and he wants to apply for an internship, but it's just happening. So after we create an identification of our persona, we try to get to know about this persona even more, about their personality. So we deep dive into their personality. So how can we do that? We can do that through the empathy map. Empathy map, you can actually get all these important elements and tricks about this persona by asking them questions, by doing interviews with them, by doing surveys, so you can get to know more about their personality. But empathy map for now, we try to put ourselves in Yasser's shoes, and we try to think to see how is he thinking about the situation, what is he saying, what is he feeling, what is he doing. So the empathy map focuses on 4 quadrants, which are thinking, saying, doing, feeling. So what is happening with Yasser in the situation? He thinks that he needs to lose weight because he's just emotional eater. He's thinking that when this coronavirus thing will end, he thinks that he needs to be more organized, and he's thinking about doing a TikTok account. I hope, guys, none of you did a TikTok account through the pandemic. Okay, so what is he saying about this? He's saying that he's really bored and he wants to be productive and he wants to be proactive. He wants to fix his sleeping schedule because he's spending his whole time in the house and he's just not fixing his sleeping schedule. He needs to find a hobby because it's so boring, and he needs a way to just see people and meet people and have fun with them. What he's doing, actually, he's online, he's trying to work from home, he Zooms with his friends, and he's looking for a job. How is he feeling about all of this? He's lazy, he's sad, he's lonely, and he's not being productive. That's why he's being anxious. Like, I'm not doing anything with my life, so he just gets anxious and he repeats the process all over again. So design thinking was actually helping this persona to figure out what are the real challenges that he's facing, Yasser is facing, in order the startup company to figure it out, and they come up with an idea that will serve Yasser's needs or wants. So after we try to get to know about the persona, move to the as a scenario. What is the as a scenario? It's basically a journey, or we pick a day from our user's life and we put a spotlight on what is he doing throughout his day, and see what is he doing and thinking and feeling about each step that is going in his day. This step, it's because we need to figure out exactly how is he feeling about each one of the steps that he's going through. And from the feeling, we get to know what are the pain points of our persona. So these are the steps that we have for today, which are: he wakes up, he opens his laptop, he orders food, and he goes back to bed. It's a typical day for anyone in the pandemic. Okay, so in the first step, he wakes up. What does he do about it? He stays in bed for an hour just checking his social network platforms. And then he just get up and brush his teeth. He would think that he will be motivated to work this day, but let's just see how it goes throughout the day. Okay, so he thinks that he needs to plan the day and he thinks that he will be productive. How is he feeling? He's feeling motivated, fresh, and full of hope. The second step, where his actually day starts, he opens his laptop and he starts procrastinating and play with his phone and closes his laptop because he's getting distracted and so on. How is he thinking? He's thinking he's just bored, he needs a challenge, and he needs to find a way to keep himself motivated. He's feeling sad, depressed, and bored. The next step, he goes to thinking about what is he going to have for lunch. So he starts spending a lot of time on food apps. He snack, he orders lunch. He's thinking that he's gaining a lot of weight because he's eating too much. He's saying that he's thinking that he should eat healthy pandemic because he wants to get the use out of staying at home and cooking and stuff. And he's thinking that, okay, I'll start diet tomorrow, so it's okay, I can eat whatever I want today. He's feeling lonely, anxious, and unhealthy. The last step, what we have is goes back to bed. So what he's doing is just watching Netflix, Zoom call with his friends, planning for the next day. He's thinking that he should sleep early and fix his sleeping schedule, but it does not happen. He's thinking, I'm bored, just let me go eat. And he thinks that, okay, tomorrow is gonna be a new day, so I'm gonna be productive. He's feeling disappointed, demotivated, and anxious because he's just not finishing what he has to do. Now, we have a lot of other elements and techniques that we should follow in design thinking, but I just have these 3 steps that will show you what is design thinking is all about. But you can always go and check the design thinking for beginners in the IBM Digitalization platform to know more about all the techniques. Now, if you have any questions, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to think of your questions and share it with the chat. If you don't have any, we can move to the fun part, which is the brainstorming or game storming. So any questions, anyone? Is there anything not clear that you would like to have an answer to? Please let me know. I'll be waiting for your questions. Do we need to write an exam before getting a certificate for this course? No, if you go to the enterprise design thinking, you can just complete the modules and you will be able to get the practitioner badge. What is thinking is basically on a very high level. Design thinking is a way where you can focus on what is the challenge and try to solve it, but with putting yourself in the audience shoes or the whoever you are targeting shoes. So it would be a human-centered approach. You would focus on their needs and wants, not just the fact that you want to sell something or that's it, because that might not be interested for your customer or the one you are targeting. Okay, guys, I'll be waiting for your questions. I'm just gonna advise you all. 1 second, let me go to the page that we will have the Gamestorming. Okay, so I'd like you all, please, to write on your browsers www.menti.com and use the code that you can see here. 1 second. Okay. Guys, can you see my screen? Oh my God. 1 second. It's just. Okay. Guys, go to www.menti.com. And write the code which is showing here 44003. So what we are trying to do now is that we got to know that Yasser's is bored to-do list app. Wow, guys, you got the thing before even I explain it. Amazing. Okay, so basically what we are trying to do here to come up with ideas to solve Yasser's pain points. So what do we need? He actually needs someone or something that fixes his sleeping schedule, entertain him, make him proactive. Look at these ideas. Okay. Okay, so the we have innovate, we have man. So basically these words, the bigger the word is the most word that got voted. Guys, come up with ideas. Account for what? Don't just put words. Just put whatever you think. Don't be scared. It's okay. We need to get the best ideas, the craziest ideas out there. Creativity program, community participation, to-do list app, time management. Take a deep breath. Okay. Link with friends. What? Artificial intelligence. Okay, artificial intelligence to do what actually? Elaborate. I like elaboration. Sleep tracker. Guys, okay, stop. Let's just focus on what we have for now. Schedule, okay. Stay away from his phone. I think everyone is just addicted to their phone. Will not be able to do that. Meditate. That's nice. I'm about that life. Exercise. Okay, so I think 187 of you just voted. We still have 100 people to vote. So if you did not access Menti, go ahead. Time management. So basically what we have is management and schedule a to-do list, which is actually what we need. Discipline, understanding, communication, link with friends, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I think we should stop with this. Let's go back to our, no, I'm not gonna close it. I'm just gonna minimize it. Okay, so what we have is time management, to-do list, app, and so on. It's actually what Yasser is really in need to, because he doesn't know how to manage his time. He doesn't know how to fix his sleeping schedule, and he's super bored. And because he's so bored, he's not being motivated to do any of the things that he likes or he needs to do. So the key element in design thinking is ideation. Ideation focuses on the need statement and focuses on, after you create your persona empathy map as a scenario and you understand your targeted audience very well and what are the problems that they are having and what are the pain points they are having, you can actually go ahead and come up with ideas that will solve their pain points. So we have two parts in the ideation. We have diverge and the converge. The diverge is basically when we do a design thinking workshop or we do a session, in the Diverge, each person comes up with an idea that would solve the pain point of our user. So each one of us would think and write keywords about his ideas, and you can even draw something because design thinking is so much fun. Like, you enjoy the experience of doing design thinking. You would have fun while you're doing this. So you can get creative, you can get your art skills. I can't hear the presenter. Can you try to check your audio, please? You cannot hear me. So it's super fun to do such a design think workshop because you get all your skills out, and your design person in you to go out and be shared with other people. So that's in the Diverge. In the Converge, after you do the all the ideas that you can come up with, and try to find the best idea that will suit Yasser's pain point, you can then share it with the other team members, and you can talk about it, you can explain it, and you can actually discuss the ideas and how you can actually implement it. But remember, ideation is not when you come up with a solution. Ideation is basically when you try to come up with an idea, with a super crazy idea to solve one of the pain points, but not don't limit yourself to, okay, the idea is a website, the idea is mobile application. Sometimes it would be actually easy to implement, but just try to think out of the box. Okay, so to go back to Yasser's case, we have these ideas that we could come up with. Workout fun session with friends, matching people with same interest of daily to-do list solution. So one of the people who voted on Menti, they said to-do list. So he actually needs a to-do list. He wants some arts and craft to have lives and work together. He wants a fun way to share with friends what are their plans. They can grouping people with same interest to motivate each other. I think that's a good idea, because when you say to your friend, how about we start dieting together, you feel more motivated, although you're both cheating and you're eating chocolates behind each other's back, but you still get a little bit motivated to do so. So one of the ideas that can help Yasser is just to share similar interests with people or friends, and they can influence each other. One of the ideas was watch movies together through syncing, and an application that has more rewards throughout the day. It can match people up according to goals for the day. Okay, so basically you got the idea that it's just we come up with ideas to solve the pain points, and from this section, after we do ideation and we try to be creative as much as possible. Guys, is my voice breaking? If you cannot hear me clearly, please. Okay, working perfect. Thank you, Ahmed. Then the other people, you can check your connection. Please fix it. And if you have any questions, if there's nothing, if there's anything not clear, you can ask any. Okay. So after we do the ideation and we try to come up with ideas, make sure that you come up with a lot of ideas, crazy ideas, as I said. We move to the second part of the ideation, which is the prioritization. What does that mean? It means that we try to pick what are the ideas. First, we have to categorize them. The similar ideas, we have to put them together, and so on. And then we try to vote based on everyone's opinion, which idea you think it's important and which idea you think it's feasible. And based on the voting, each person can vote up to 3 votes on importance or feasibility, or up to you. It depends on how big is the workshop, how many people are you in the workshop, or if you have a lot of ideas, you can just adjust this to whatever case you have. So in the importance in the prioritization grid, you get the chance to put what are the ideas that got the importance, the very high importance scale, and the feasibility, and that what shows you uh, what are the most important and feasible ideas that you can actually implement. And for the important ideas and less important ideas and less feasible, you can actually implement in the future um, of your solution. So prioritization grid helps us to define are the ideas that we need to implement and where we can proceed. Any questions so far? What should happen in the case where the idea with most vote is not the boss again, and the boss insists on his yeah. I'm not sure about that case, but try to convince him. If you are super convinced with the idea, and oh, I mean the boss's idea. Okay. If you have actually valid points about your idea and you can actually convince your boss, then trust me, it's gonna be a good idea. But if you cannot convince your boss that's a good idea, then it's not a good idea from the first place. But some political things might happen. I'm not sure about that. So good luck. Okay. Now, I just want to briefly tell you what are the other techniques that you should focus on. It's basically after you do the persona, empathy map as a scenario and the ideation, and you come up with the idea, you do the to be scenario. What does that mean? To be scenario is basically you put the idea that you came up with in the life, just like what we have here, but with the idea. So you see how the idea improved the day of Yasser's activity or something. Like, what happened? What did you add? What wow factor about your idea? How Yasser's day got flipped in a better way. Oh, it rhymes. Okay. So you should focus on 3 elements, which are which is called the Hill statement. What does the Hill statement mean? It focuses on what and who and what is the wow factor. So what are you doing? Who are you targeting? And what is the wow factor about all of this? So when you come up with a solution or when you come up with an idea to solve a specific challenge, always try to be consistent and like you have a vision, you have a way, or you are still looking at that goal that you want to achieve. You have to stay aligned with whatever you want to achieve. So health statement, which focuses on what are you doing and who are you targeting and what is the wow factor, helps you to focus on your bigger picture. After you do the to be scenario and all is good and you feel that the idea is adding value to your user and it's making a difference in their life, you do the prototype, which is just a quick prototype about your solution, which in our example it could be app, because you guys mentioned to-do list app or a time management app and so on. It can be anything. It can be an app that it has like a syncing kind of exercising session. So you would ping your friend on the app and invite him for an exercising session. You would open your camera, and your friend would open their camera, and you can just do the exercises on the spot together. So that might be a kind of motivation for you. Or you can actually put a to-do list. The mobile would just ping you like, okay, this task should have finished or should have been done by 1 hour. You have 1 hour to do it. It can be so many ideas, and you can do whatever you want on your prototype or your MVP. But in design thinking, we focus on the prototype and MVP because what MVP is basically minimal. So when we come up with a solution or a product or whatever something that we want to put it in the marketplace, we do the minimum viable product. Why do we do that? Because we want to reduce the risk. We don't want to invest so much in our solution, or we don't want the solution to cost us a lot, because this might not be actually very helpful to our users. So we want to test it first. We want to see if it's actually good or not. Is it serving the necessities of our audience or not? Um, if it does, then you can actually build on that and come up with new features, and you can add new stuff and then make it a proper product or a proper mobile application. But you just don't want to waste your time, your money, and your effort, and it's just useless for your audience, right? So sponsor users in this case, question. Is design thinking for everyone? Yes, it is for everyone. You can apply it in whatever case you want. Even if you want to do a decoration for your room, you just do a design thing yourself and try to think, what do you like, what do you want, what do you need, and so on. So design thinking can be applied anywhere, anytime, for any. MVP is minimal viable product, where it means what is actually necessary, and this is the smallest thing you can build, and it would be kind of a test for your audience if it's actually important or not. So that's why it's actually very important to do a minimal viable product at the beginning, so you don't just come up with a product and it just goes to waste. So here, who help us in this scenario? The sponsor users. The sponsor users is basically who can test your product. They are real life experience. They bring real life experience, and they would tell you what are you missing, and what are the important stuff, and if it's actually a good application for your users or not. So they would really help us in testing our MVP in order to come up with the real product and add whatever features we need. So to summarize this, we just want to tell you that design thinking is basically focuses on few things. First, you have to clearly identify the problem statement, or let's not call it a problem, it's just a challenge. We focus on the challenge. We see what the challenges out there, and then we divide the thing into 3 steps, which are the reflect, observe, reflect, and make. And by the way, design thinking is not linear process. You can just start whenever you want, at whatever step you want. You can keep repeating the loop, and that's why it's called the loop, where you can observe, reflect, and make, observe, reflect, and make, and do whatever you want as because you want to see what is your use case. Okay, so make sure you cover these three keys, which are the observe, reflect, and make, and then start with your design thinking techniques. And it's just more important to start with your persona, so you get to know who are you targeting. So in a very high level, Design thinking, you define the problem statement, you see who are your audience, you try to understand your audience, you put yourself in their shoes, you do interviews, you do research, you do surveys, just try to get a clear idea on what they actually need. And then you can come up with the MVP, test the sponsor users so they can give you a real feedback into how improving your product before releasing it to the audience. And basically, this is it. So it's a very simple, yet it's very useful methodology that it can help your business, it can help your life, and so on. All companies using this method for its new product or to make a new product idea, of course they do, because if they just come up with a product and they try to sell it, they will lose a lot of money and effort, because the clients might not be in need with this product. So it's best for them to do a design thinking. And from my experience, whenever we have to meet a client, we just do a design thinking workshop first. So we get to know what do they actually need from us in order for us to try to help them in the right way. Yeah, you can get a copy. This session is actually recorded, and we will share the link with you very soon. Where can we get a real life problem implemented through design thinking? Um, the doctor case that I mentioned, the design in all clients, they can just have you do a design thinking. Design thinking, you not mention the word design thinking, but for sure we have this kind of ideation and brainstorming, and this is what actually very important in design thinking. The design thinking is all about ideation. So before anyone gets anything, they do a brainstorming session. They need to do that. So this is what you can actually call design thinking, where you focus on what you actually need and then you ask for it. What can be done if your idea is by some factor, especially capital? Sorry, I did not get your question. We can, is there any IBM offering application solution for the design thinking process? My chat is still displaying on the group chat. Oh, you can have the use cases that we have in the innovator section. It shows how design thinking was applied, and you can actually get inspired by the ideas out there. Will video of this class be available for participants? Yes, we're gonna share it. We're gonna share it with you as soon as we download it on Box. We can use it in our personal life to solve something. Of course, you can. You can use it whenever you want, at whatever use case you have. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your attendance. Thank you, guys. I hope it was very helpful and it's clear. Don't be shy to ask any questions. After identify the challenge problem statement, what is the next? Okay, after you identify the problem statement, the next step is who are you targeting? You would identify the business challenge, and then okay, in order to do in order to come up with the right solution, you need to know who are you targeting. You would know your audience, and then you develop the solution for them. Thanks, IBM. Sorry, someone is telling me answering this question, but sorry, I can't see your question. I can't follow.
Jude, can you also check the Q&A panel? There are some couple questions.
Okay, 1 second. Q&A. Okay, guys, I have issues with my mics. 1 second, I'm sorry.
Do you need help sending you the questions? Jude?
Can you help send it on the chat?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. This is Diana from Ghana. Is as the journey map? Yes, it's is a relationship between design thinking and interface human machine. Can we go on the presentation and have question and answer time? A question are showing the presentation. Sorry, we are having the question and session time.
Can you see the questions I'm sending you on the chat?
Yes, is design thinking good for my CV as a software developer? Yes, of course. Design thinking can work in any department for any skills for it's always helpful, because if you want to come up with a software or you want to develop a software, you can do a design thinking for a client if they actually need it or not. So you would have a clear idea if they're targeting or reaching out to the right person or not. I think the concept is also for designing information. The vocabulary is new. I cannot see what is the new in design thinking. It's not a new thing. It's just, yes, as you said, the design thinking. Maybe the wording is good, is recent, but companies have been using design thinking for ages, and all about ideation. So this is what design thinking is all about. Yet a lot of people don't know about it yet. So we're trying to promote it because it's really helpful for everyone. What are the problems of design thinking and creative? Sorry, I'm lost. What is the difference between design thinking and creative thinking? It looks similar. It's the same. And you just be creative and you come up with ideas. Where do we find the best ideas in the world? Just try to come up with ideas and be creative, and it would be one of the best ideas in the world, right? Any more questions, guys? Are there tools? What are the problem? Sorry, I can't focus. What are the problems of design thinking? Okay, what are the problems about design thinking? You might not always be able to apply or implement the ideas. You might not, that your client might be focused on one specific thing and they just don't want to be open to trying new stuff, or they don't want to they just think that, okay, I want an AI and that's it. They wouldn't think what are the real problems in order to find the right solution or right product for them. So the design thinking will not, this is one of the problems that design thinking might face. How can we access the material? My colleague Gurud is sharing the links. You always check that. What solution we offer to Yasser? We came up with ideas. We did not offer a solid solution, but from what we got is basically a mobile application, let's say, that has multiple features. One of them is to solve his pain point. He's not actually motivated to work out or exercise or to do his tasks, where he can add friend, or they can share an interest, which is exercising, and they can actually open the app together, do an exercise together, and finish it together. So that's a kind of a motivational process for Yasser. So it could be a mobile application, it could be something else. I just wanted to show you how you actually work on design thinking, and then you come up with the real solution. Yes, is design applicable in medical practice? Yes, not in medicine, but in hospitals, clinics, and so on. Of course, you can. Are there tools that can help to automate and make the listening and thinking process of clients' problems and generating ideas for a solution easier? Are there tools that help?
Jude, they can't see each other chats or questions. So if you can just read the question loudly and then answer it.
Okay. Is there a difference between design thinking and agile? Okay. So design thinking is basically the process that you use before you proceed with creating the solution. So design thinking, it's like you have a clear paper. You start writing down the business challenge, who are you targeting, blah blah blah, and then you start as soon as you want to settle on an MVP. The agile method can start. It takes it from there, where you can just do the work. You divide the work on multiple spins, and you can just so you would have a structured kind of way in order to build your MVP, and not just build an MVP and it's just waste of time and effort, and that the MVP would not be actually accurate, so you would do it all over again. So agile method is like it's a fixed process, or it's um it's a process where you can actually divide your work into spins, not do everything at the same time. You assign each team member, and you can reflect on it, and you can actually have meetings, stand-up meetings, where you can talk about uh, the uh, the progress of your solution. So it's a way of working on a software, but design thinking is a way of coming up with the solution, and coming up with the problem statement and then the solution. Okay. How relevant is in the profession? For example, how relevant is design thinking in the medical profession? For example, we have the MRI machine. The MRI machine is very scary for people. It's very loud, it's very tight, especially for kids, let's say. So one of the things that was helpful is design thinking, where they thought of how can we make it as an experience, and they just painted the MRI machine that made the kids feel as if they are in an inside of aquarium. So you can see what are trying to do. You have to see what are the challenges you are facing in the medical uh, profession, and apply a design thinking and see how can you help your users with that. Can interested participants get a mentor on design thinking? Yes, you can get. You can always ask me whenever you have any question. I'll be more than happy to help. Uh, how can you gather information about your personas? Is customer feedback, social media accounts? Yes. How do you get information about your personas? Is actually by asking them questions, knowing their personalities, doing interviews with them, sending them surveys. Try to ask them open questions. Don't ask them a yes or no questions, because that might limit you and not know how they would react to some things. So, for example, if you said, "How do you feel about the pandemic?" You would let the person talk about it. You would observe their tone, how they are reacting, if they're angry, depressed, anxious, whatever. So this will help you as well. But if you tell them, are you sad because of the pandemic, and they just say yes, you will not be able to know a very deep level on the for the persona of your targeted audience. Is there a freelance work in design thinking? I'm not sure. How do we contact you for mentorship? Sorry, this is my email address. You can send me your questions if you have any questions regarding design thinking. I'll be more than happy to answer you. Okay, guys, if you don't have any further questions or if you have any more questions, I don't want to make this call any longer, but I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Yes, Nasif, design thinking is very valuable in education, and I actually gave a session for kids ages 9 to 11, and it was really interesting how they got the knowledge about design thinking. It was very simple, obviously, but it was good for them to know about this methodology since they are at that age. Email is here, jude.hassan@ibm.com. So join us in our next webinar next Thursday at the same time. And I hope you guys had a good session about design thinking and hope you guys learn more about it and do our course on the IBM Digital Nation. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great weekend.